Hi, thanks for watching. So I'd like to share with you one thing which has really helped me get through lockdown. And I know we've got the news now that it's going to be like 1 meter instead of 2 meters and like everything's going to be different. So I'm quite excited to get back out there. Yeah, I've really found lockdown quite a struggle. And there's a reason for that, which is I think I'm probably a bit emotionally unstable, if I'm honest. That's probably the honest way of putting it. Basically, I can be quite up and down emotionally. And I suppose you would call that unstable, fluctuating moods, I guess. So I'm just being honest about it. I was owning that. And that goes back to like my teenage years. I was really depressed as a teenager. And I've been to 5 therapists over that. Can you believe it? 5 therapists over like my teenage years. And the second therapist I went to, she said, you self-therapied your way out of depression as a teenager. When I explained like everything, how it all was. And as I think about that now, I think isn't that impossible to self-therapy your way out of depression? Because the whole point of therapy is that you journey with someone else, and by talking with someone else about the things that you've buried deep down, it brings them out, gives them air, and they no longer cause you the problem they caused you. That's the whole thing of therapy. So I don't know how you do that with yourself. But whatever I did, it was kind of brutal. It was like I was brutal with myself, and I don't know what I did. I just tried to pull myself out of something that I was in. That's basically what I did. And yeah, I suppose ever since then, I've just fluctuated mood-wise. I don't want to fluctuate mood-wise. Sometimes it just comes over me, this kind of like, I don't know, I just flip. And I don't want to flip, but somehow it just happens, even if I try not to. So there's always room for improvement, which is great. But, so I've been like that in lockdown. I've been quite sort of up and down, really. And I don't know if you get that where people ask you, how are you? And you say, I've been a bit up and down. Oh, right. You're like, well, you did ask. What do you want me to say? Hey, great, everything's amazing. I've been loving lockdown. My vocational work's been taken away from me. I'm on my own in the house all the time. The gym I love is closed. All the things I love have gone. And I'm going to be like, yeah, lockdown's amazing. So, I've not found it amazing. I found some things really good about it, like a bit of discovery of things about myself, and other things I've just not found good about it. So it has been like really up and down. Now, this is to dog owners. This is to the dog owners out there, those of you watching. They just love it that you guys often look like your dogs. I think that's so cool that dog owners look like their dogs. And it's really true. It is true. If you're thinking it's not, it's true. And I think even if a dog owner doesn't look like their dog, they kind of somehow, what type of dog they'd have. I find that just so funny. Just so funny. Now, as a cat owner, obviously, we can't look like our cats, because that's just impossible. You can't look like a cat. But what is really, really bizarre is I am just like my cat's personality. My personality is like my cat's personality. It is uncanny. And with Max has this, he's kind of like bipolar. He's got this serene, he sits with his little paws tucked under, his eyes closed. And he just sits there, serene, like he's 1,000 years old and just, he's seen it all before. And something really stupid can happen, and like he's like terrified of nothing and runs away. And he's just got this super serene, super deep self, and then this totally scatty, crazy self. And I think that's the same with me. I have this kind of like times when I'm serene and things are fine. Then other times when I'm just like super scatty, super, just, I don't know, just can't cope with stuff. And I just want to share with you a couple of things that have really helped me as that's been happening in lockdown. Just a couple of things that have really helped me in lockdown to cope with that, to deal with that. So the first is Billie Eilish. Well, no, that's a lie. Billie Eilish has not helped me get through lockdown. But kind of Billie Eilish could help you get through lockdown, couldn't she? I think she's so amazing and so awesome. And I just find her really refreshing. Like, as a teenager who is world famous, she just seems so normal, and she just talks about her problems as a normal teenager might. And I just love that in her. But she's not got me through lockdown, but she probably could get you through lockdown. So there's two things which have really got me through lockdown. One of which I wasn't going to talk about, but actually I may as well, because it's probably quite important. So the first is meditation. Meditation has helped get me through lockdown. Now, there's a lot of Christian haters for meditation. I know that. I kind of encounter them a lot. And I think the reason they hate meditation is because it's kind of from the East. And because it's from the East, it's not of our Western Christian tradition. It doesn't come from our tradition. It's like Eastern, therefore it's like something to do with some weird, I think, Eastern religions or... Sorry, I'm not saying Eastern religions are weird, in case any of you are watching who follow an Eastern religion. What I'm just saying is that's what people think. And therefore it's connected to some, like, I don't know, Hindu gods or something, or some Buddhist whatever. So they reject it. And, you know, I decided to take up meditation a few months ago, before lockdown, because when I went to pray, my brain was really scatty. So like my cat, when he's on his scat moments, my brain was like that when I went to pray. So I thought, I need to get my brain calmed down before I start praying. So I started meditating before I prayed. And I spend probably about 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening meditating. And it's really just been fantastic. It's taken a long time. It's been quite hard work, but I seem at the moment to be in a sort of place where, you know, it's really having a benefit and bringing some peace to my life. That's probably 3 months to find that. And that's really helped me in lockdown. Really helped me in lockdown. So that's one thing that's really helped me in lockdown. The other thing, I don't know what the name is for this thing, but Jesus says in Matthew's Gospel, in that really beautiful part between chapter 5 and chapter 7, where Jesus kind of gives us instructions for our lives as his followers. And he says, today, do not worry about tomorrow. Today is sufficient unto itself. I don't know if he said it quite like that, because he was Aramaic and didn't have sufficient unto itself. But he said, don't worry about tomorrow, just keep it in today. And even don't worry about stuff today, because, don't worry about your food or your clothes. You're going to get it all. Your Heavenly Father's got you. He loves you. He's going to provide you with everything. So just keep it in this day and trust in God, and you'll be fine. And there is a kind of Catholic spirituality, I think from a couple of centuries ago, called the Sacrament of the Present Moment, which I think must be the same sort of thing about giving thanks to God for the things I have in this moment of my existence, this moment of being. And then there's kind of non-Catholic stuff or non-Christian stuff. There's a book called The Power of Now by a guy called Eckhart Tolle. I read the introduction. I thought the guy was bonkers. I didn't read any more. But the book has been recommended to me, and I think that, it's probably a good book. But again, it's talking about being in the present moment. And what's been happening during lockdown, at certain points in lockdown, sort of going back a few weeks probably, I've been predicting the future. And in my head, the future is a disaster movie. So in my head, the whole of the Catholic population has been obliterated by coronavirus, because it's full of old people and they've all been decimated by coronavirus. All the priests have been decimated by coronavirus. There's quite a few old priests. So we open up our churches. There's no priests to run them. There's no people to go to them. And just like the world's fallen apart. That's me looking at the future. Then when I bring it back to the present moment, to the present day that I'm in, and I've got really nice food to eat, I've got a lovely house to live in, I've got a beautiful cat to keep me company in lockdown, I've got friends on the end of a phone, I've got everything I need. I've got camera to make films on, a phone to make films on. I've got every single thing I need when I keep it in this moment. And that's a really beautiful thing for me to reflect on. So when I keep it in this moment, in this day, my life is perfect and I'm abundantly blessed by God. And when I look to the future, my life falls apart because it is a disaster movie. that I can't predict, and it actually just gets worse. So the two things that have really kept me sane in lockdown are meditating, because it's brought me a sense of calm and a sense of peace, and keeping things in the present moment, because that's where I recognize God is, and where God blesses me abundantly with his peace, with his love, with his joy. So yeah, I've been fluctuating, absolutely fluctuating, a bit like my cat. But those two things have really helped keep me focused and helped me just survive lockdown. So I'd love to hear what your lockdown stories are. What's helped you survive lockdown, if you've been up and down, or if you've actually had a perfect and amazing lockdown. If you have, I'd love to hear from you, because whatever you've got, I want it. I want to bottle that for the next Oh no, don't say that. Don't say that for the next. No, there's not going to be another lockdown. It's not going to happen. So anyway, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.